in order to be happy, the science is actually showing now that you need to do something that you're passionate about. First, if you find something that you love to do, the money will follow.
The spark of like light and energy and color and movement starts out of like nothingness, out of pure darkness.
We're trying to kind of foster this synergistic development of an art scene.
Just explodes from there and bounces off of each other. And so these paintings, I kind of imagine them like that, you know, like these brushstrokes are actually like moving and flowing through and just to give the people that emotion and that vibe.
The Arts at Marx is about 14-year-old community art center that runs 13 different artist lofts about a block away from here on Hotel and Mauna Kea Street. We run theme shows, either invitational, like we'll say the health of the oceans and throw it open to the whole community, or a group like that will come to us and say, we've got a theme show prepared with X number of artists that we'd like to present. We're responsible not only to our arts community, but to our neighborhood community, as I see it. So we're a little bit different than a typical gallery in that we're mission-driven community development people. And all that we do, that we provide a time and place for whatever theme is on your mind, a place to make art and to experience art. And that's what we're all about. New technologies, new companies are looking for creative people, and the best way to locate those people is by finding the arts. It's the easiest, most direct path. Those people will actually become magnets for other businesses to settle in the area. So it's the best community development strategy I could come up with. And it happens all over. It's not just here. You know, this is a proven community development phenomena.
It's making the average person that has no interest in art whatsoever and won't seek it out or anything, it allows them to have like a little bit of taste of what it's like, you know? And it's kind of dope, the whole thing about art, because when people do get a little taste, it starts to change like communities completely. Like, you know, businesses start popping up, people are like hanging around and coming around, and they're smiling faces and they're taking photos and they're being like involved, you know? And that's all from just something being blank to then something being full of color and conversations and stories and narratives and all this stuff, you know? Lana Lane Studios is a group. Well, it's a warehouse of about 16 studios, and there's 30 artists. You know, throughout the year, we're involved in a bunch of projects. Each artist has their individual studios and working spaces, but then we'll come together and work on things like powwow and different projects. Like each artist is doing something different, but we have painters, visual artists, musicians, photographers, digital graphic designers, and so it's like a cool like hub right here in the heart of everything, where we can kind of like vibe off of each other's ideas and grow in that way. I volunteer at a shelter that's here in Kaka'ako, where my studio is at, and basically it's some kids, basically they're homeless, and so they live at the shelter. And you know, they don't have obviously don't have art programs, so the Honolulu Museum has a program out there where they, supply the kids with all the art materials they need, and they have a curriculum with an instructor there, and I just come along and help with a bunch of other volunteers, and we just teach the kids art and just hang out with them and have fun, and so that's something I like to do because it also reminds me of being a kid, and that kind of encouragement is the main thing. I feel like it doesn't really matter what your work looks like or how you start out or whatever you're doing. It's I feel like the encouragement from someone that you kind of could look up to is means the world.
We've done a bunch of different youth workshops for many, many years. As we walk through Chinatown and you go past the River of Life, as I do every day, I get overwhelmed with this kind of sadness that I can't do anything about homelessness and the people that are kind of left behind by capitalism, and I feel powerless. Okay, so, and there's all kinds of kids, thousands of kids that are growing up with that every day too. I wanted to give some opportunity for them to make some minute change in their environment. And so we discovered these little miniature graffiti tactics that are three-dimensional installations that people might stumble upon as they're walking down the street. But maybe it brings them a smile. It's all pretty lighthearted. But the most important thing is that if that kid has the experience of changing that street in a positive way, just a little tiny detail, I think it will resonate later in life when that kid says, it seems like unsurmountable odds, but I can do something, however minute.
Do you think that art helped keep you out of trouble?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because the dope thing about art is that I would just be in my room drawing all the time, and it's a dope way to go within and know who you are and all of that, kind of explore yourself, because it's easy to get distracted with things, and whenever my art is not on point, it's when I'm more distracted by things, The houses, that's all about when I was growing up, I never really had a stable home. So the houses are always kind of my representation of that idea of stability, and at least feeling that within yourself, no matter what your actual circumstances are. But if you're stable within yourself, that's the idea behind that. And that's why the houses are usually crowns, or there's someone inside of it and it's moving and animated because it's a part of them too, Another constant theme is just overcoming adversity, overcoming struggles. The characters might be going through a hard time, but I always like to think they're at the end of that tunnel where they can start to see that light coming through, That feeling is dope, and I like that moment in between.
That's got to make a profound impact on somebody to leave something beautiful behind for everyone to appreciate.
Each piece is kind of different. Each piece, might tell a different story or have to do with something else. But, the main theme that I want to carry across with my work is for people to dream, to imagine things and worlds beyond what they thought was possible. Just to start that idea of creativity and imagination, and to just plant those seeds. That's what I want my work to do. It's a real reactionary. I think it affects people in a way that they are bombarded with these images, and they have to kind of feel some sort of way about it.